that's just my opinion, because you know what? This is his first, and he is always going to be judged against this palette. He has set what his standard is going to be with this palette. So let's see how it performs, shall we? Okay, now since I just talked all that blubbly blub about this, I am going to use this palette as the average consumer would. That means, even though I have MAC Paint Pot, I'm not using it because I don't normally use it. I'm going to apply these shadows the same way I apply any other shadow, and what I think your average consumer would do, because I have watched video after video. I could go on ad nauseam. The videos I've watched of people applying it exactly the way James Charles says you have to. Well, you know what? I want to see what I haven't seen yet, and that is I want to see how these shadows perform if the average person picked this up and used it without doing what James Charles says. So let's see how it goes. By the way, I am reviewing the Flower Beauty foundation and concealer along with Touch in Soul's new No Problem priming water. If you guys want to check that out, it should be up before this, so kind of excuse the way the schmy balls are looking because they're a little rough right now. Okay, as usual, I will put a picture up in one of these corners showing you which colors I'm working with, so I don't have to hold the palette up every 3 seconds. Let's see here. I think today I am really drawn to the bottom left corner with the greens and the yellow down there. So I think that's what we're gonna do. And my lids are already have concealer and powder on them. Like I said, I'm gonna handle this the same way I would any other palette. And let's see what she does. First off, I'm gonna start off with, and I'm not gonna give you the names because I'm not reading that stupid sheet of paper every 3 seconds. I'm going to start off with his white, which according to what he said, and by the way I'm using a Natasha Denona number 10, he said it is meant to be buildable. Actually, let me zoom in a little. Sorry. If I remember correctly, he said this is meant to be buildable. Why? In other words, it's not pigmented, but I did that on purpose. And I'm just going to coat my entire lid with it because this is what I would normally do. And I will say that this is my 3rd coat now under the brow. Okay, so that's 3 coats, and let me just show you. I mean, I'm loading the brush up. So here's 4 coats. That's 4 coats of that white. Not only is it not pigmented, it's not buildable very well, at least in my, I wouldn't consider that a highly buildable shadow. I would consider this just north of a translucent powder. I mean, it has obviously some white pigment in it, but I would not consider this a highly pigmented white. Now, just so you guys know, when it comes to, and I'm still using the white, as you can see here. I mean, look, like I said, I'm loading this brush. I may have opinions about him and how he's handling things and such, and about the palette, but I will tell you this, you can count on me, without a doubt, to be honest in my feelings of performance of this shadow, because that is something, well, I'm honest about everything in my opinion. I'm just saying I'm not going to shoot him down just because I don't care for James Charles. Because, you know what? Even if I did, you're going to see the performance on my eyes, so it doesn't matter what I say. Okay, let's go in. I am going to try something a little bit different this time, and that is, rather than starting out with a transition, sorry, I have an eyelash in my eye. I'm going to start out with the darker shade that I want to use. So I'm going to go into this dark green. Let's try and build it up. Yeah, see, unless these are going on a really sticky base, you're getting pigment from what, I mean, obviously you can see it. You're going to get pigment, but I don't think you're going to get, you know, it's kind of like anything. When you mix water with something, it's going to darken it. When you're putting this on a sticky base, it's going to darken the pigment. It's common sense. And the funny thing is, you know, hearing him talk about this palette and the application of it, he acts as if that's something just special with this palette. If you take any eyeshadow and you put it on a primer base that's sticky and you haven't set it with powder, the eyeshadow is going to appear more pigmented because it's mixing with a liquid, with fluid. I mean, it's common sense. And by the way, I am not trying to, you know, make some fancy look. I just want to try the colors out and see how they turn out. I will say one thing I wish that he had, with that purple shade that's in there, the purple metallic, whatever the hell this is, this orchid, beautiful color. I wish he'd put more pigment in that. You know, he's so emphasizing pigment in this palette, and yet that beautiful tone acts more like a topper. Okay, so that is that color. Now, to get it to this level of pigmentation, you guys can count them if you want to, but if it's different, I'll correct it. But I think it was either 6 or 7 layers to get it to that level. Not on a primer. And, hang on here, I did have quite a bit of fallout with that over. Okay, now in the pan, there's, you know, there's a good amount of kick up. It's nothing insane, but it's there. Okay, now I'm going to go to the next lightest green. We're just going to do a wild green eye here. And again, I'm packing this on as opposed to, now this one has a lot of kick up in the pan. I'm packing this on as opposed to sweeping it on, which I would normally do. Now see this one here, the minute, as long as I pat it on, it's not sticking right here at all, like right in this section here. But the minute that I go over it, you know, with the sweeping motion, the pigment just kind of comes off. Which tells me this probably isn't going to be a look that stays on very long. Okay, now I'm just going to really gently... Oh yeah, see that? It just came right off. Look at that. You know, I'm beginning to think that the reason why he's pushing primer so heavily with this is, one, to try and avoid people's eyes getting stained. In other words, don't come out and tell them their eyes can get stained. Just tell them to use a primer, because a primer will help block, you know, putting a barrier between your skin and the product is going to help block the dye from staining as much. But number two is because, look at that. I mean, I'm just very, very gently, look at that. I'm very gently blending that, and all that color just went bye-bye. So it's not even binding to the eye. Now let's try it on this eye here, okay? Very gently. Look at that. All gone. Other than the stain. That's all that's left behind is wet stain. Let's try putting it back on. That's horrible. I mean, the fact that you cannot use this without a primer, because that's what this is telling me. When I put this on, okay, there, I packed it on, and we got color, very gently. Gone. Look at that, there it goes. And the dark green underneath is going too. Look at that. That is what happens when you use this palette as a normal consumer would. And they won't even spend as much, you know, if I was doing this like I normally would, I wouldn't have spent as much time as I did packing on the color. I would have just, I mean, look, let me pack this back on again so you can see what it looked like. I mean, this is ridiculous. Yeah, this is why he says to use a primer. Otherwise, they don't stick to the eye. Okay, sorry you guys, my memory card got full because I forgot to format it before I started recording. So I have no idea how much was cut off, but I'm going to tell you this much. I look like a complete and utter idiot right now, but I really don't care. In my personal opinion, this you know, I hate to say somebody's pulling a scam, but he's pulling a scam. He created an eyeshadow palette that the eyeshadows do not stick to the eye. In my experience, now remember, I'm not saying it's like this across the board. Who knows, maybe there's somebody out there that's applied this as I have to a concealed powdered base and they can get it to stick. I cannot. This is sitting on top of my eye right now. I showed enough times, I'm not going to show it again. If I even attempt to manipulate the product, it disappears. So, in my personal opinion, by James Charles telling everyone to use a primer, preferably like a MAC paint pot, I don't think that has a damn thing to do with pigmentation. I think it has to do with the fact that they don't stick to the eye otherwise. They don't stick to the skin. So you need some kind of a barrier there that has moisture in it to adhere the product to the skin, because they just don't stick. It's that simple. They're very powdery. The colors are beautiful, but what's the use of them if all they do is stay in the skin and they don't stick? This, instead of Unleash Your Inner Artist, should be, oh, I don't know, Unleash Your Inner Dye. I mean, that's about what it is. It's just dyes the skin, but it doesn't stick. Now, if you, I'm sure, as many people, you know, that's the reason I didn't use, I mean, you've seen here, I have MAC Paint Pot, I have it in several shades. I did not use that intentionally today because I have watched countless videos of people using it and doing exactly what he said. I wanted to see, put this to the test, as I've seen no other do yet, with just concealer and a powdered base, which is how I always do it. No, actually, I think I did see one video. I think one of my gals, I think maybe Tara did it that way. And her eye look turned out beautiful. I'll tell you one thing, this isn't staying. So it's just going to be here for as long as it takes for me to just, a gust of wind and it's going to blow away, because it's not adhering to my eye. All it's doing is staining my eye. So, but I'll be right back. I am going to line lashes and we'll be right back to do lips and final thoughts. I just wanted to show you guys real quick. See my eyelids there? This just goes to show you. All I did was take my eyelash curler and curl my lashes, and just the contact of the tool took all the eyeshadow off of my eyelid. Look at that. So, if you don't believe me that these don't stick to the eye without a sticky base, I don't know what more proof it is. I've shown it, and this is all faded already even. I'm going to build it up again. This is unbelievable. Because you know what? You shouldn't have to use, anytime I'm dealing with an eyeshadow palette and somebody tells me I have to use something different or additional in order for that eyeshadow palette to work, automatically right then and there, that should be a warning to you. Take it as a warning, because that's exactly what it is. There's no way you should have to use anything different with an eyeshadow palette for it to work. It's just that simple. It's fucking ridiculous. This is now probably the 7th, probably the 8th or 9th actually time now I've built this color back up. It's literally disappearing faster than I can even get a screenshot of it. I've never seen anything like it. I really haven't, you guys. I'm not just saying this to be a, you know, critical bitch because I don't care for, you know, I'm saying this since you guys can see it. I mean, look at how many times I've applied this. If I did this with any of my other eyeshadow palettes, my eyes right now would be so incredibly pigmented. And while this looks bright, it's not staying. Okay, let's try once again now that, I mean, there's more on my, look at that. There's more on my color switch than there is on my eye. That's how much pigment I was loading on the brush to try and pack on my eye. And when I went like this, look at that. It's just loaded. Unreal. What a joke. These are fucking beautiful. Excuse my language, you guys. I'm kind of worked up. This is my newest Marc Jacobs Eyeliner. I want all the shades of these. These are the metallic ones. Oh my god, they're just gorgeous. And this one's in Gemstone, number 33. They have so much metallic to them. I've never seen ones like this before. Look at that. It's just gorgeous. This one's got a blue tone to it. I know I've got a green eye look on, but you know what? I don't care. I just want to get this shit done. I'm so sick of this palette. Okay, I know this is even probably more a wild look now with the lashes I have on, but as I've told you guys the last several videos, I'm going to keep trying lashes out until I find some that look good. These are very big. I didn't realize they were that big, but of course with how much I blew up that eyeshadow, it's okay. These are House of Lashes, and these are iconic. They're very, very, probably their most popular lash style, or one of them certainly. They are very pretty, but they are very long. Okay, so now Lips. What kind of lip color should I do with this, you guys? I wanted to do a mauve-y, because you know me, I'm on the mauve train right now. But let's see how it works, shall we? And by the way, this is, I picked up one of Huda Beauty's lip liners. This is in the shade Trophy Wife. And I want to try it with what I do with it. Oh, I picked up what I thought was a true mauve from Too Faced. This is their La Creme Color Drenched Lip Cream. I got this at Ulta, and this is in the shade Razzle Dazzle Rose. So there's, looks like a pretty, definitely rosy, kind of a rosy mauve. I don't know, maybe more rose. I think this might be too pink. Love the color though. And it feels so nice. This is my first time trying these La Creme from Too Faced. I've never tried those before. How about let's go into the Katie Desi A Mauve Story, since we both know that's not mauve, but it'll nude this up, which is what I think it needs. Okay, so I think the only thing I'm missing, let's put on a little highlighter. This is Dandelion by Benefit Cosmetics. I've never tried this before. And I'm just going to take my, let's see, what is this? Wayne Goss 02. Let's see if that'll pick it up or not. Oh yeah, that's pretty. It's finally one light enough for my skin tone. Oh, about time. Thank you, Benefit. Because, boy, I'll tell you, I have a hard time finding highlighters that are actually light enough. Oh, that's pretty. Look at that, you guys. Isn't that pretty? It is so pretty. And it's not, it's like a very, very light. I was afraid it was going to be too pink, because I don't like things that are, I love pink, but you know, I don't want scalding pink on my face all the time. And I was worried this was going to be too pink, but now that I've got it on my skin, it's actually a very, very light peach pink. Very light. Isn't that pretty? This is, again, Benefit's Dandelion Twinkle. Now, they have Dandelion Blush, which I think is in this, which is what I have on right now. Yeah, the Cheek Parade. I'll be giving one of these away in an upcoming giveaway. Dandelion Blush is in this, so don't get that confused with Dandelion Twinkle, which is the highlighter. Okay, I think we are done, folks. So what do you think? I know I've never done a look like this on my channel before. This is the way I used to wear my makeup, believe it or not. Used to be real, you know, up there and out there, and I covered every bit of space that I had because, you know, I've got so much space in between my eyelid and my eyebrows. So I used to bring it all the way up like this and then blow it way down. I used to blow it down almost to my socket there. So not the way I wear my makeup anymore, but that's what we ended up with today. So what do you think? Cue sexy montage.
When I get home, babe, gonna light your fire. All day I've been thinking about you, babe, you're my one desire. Gonna wrap my arms around you and hold you close to me. Oh, babe, I wanna taste your lips, I wanna be a fantasy, yeah.
Sorry, but you guys, I gotta have some fun in this a little bit. There's a close-up of my eyeballs. Look at that. They are neon. Let's see if it's wearing off yet. Yep. Look at that. Already. And I double, triple, fucking quadrumplet packed it on. Okay, so if you can't tell my final opinion, I'm not going to waste a lot of time. It's pretty obvious. I think, you know, in my personal opinion, I think I'll tell you what I don't get. I don't understand why out of all the, you know, the world at his fingertips, out of all the formulas he could have created, why create one that doesn't have enough binder in it, apparently, to adhere to the eyelid without a primer? I just don't understand that. I really don't. I think, you know, am I going to call him an outright liar? No. I think it's a racket. I think he's applied enough eyeshadow himself that he knows that these aren't going to stick to the eye good, or at all for that matter, without an eyeshadow primer. And I think he manipulated facts a little bit, stating that, you know, in order to get maximum pigmentation, you should use an eye primer. Well, duh! I mean, you're going to get maximum pigmentation if the shadow comes in contact with anything that has moisture in it. I don't give a rat's ass if it's Coke, if it's MAC Paint Pot, if it's Monostat yeast cream. You get my gist? You don't need to use a primer. You could have wet lids for that matter. You could have damp lids, you know, put water in your lids and then just pat them dry a little bit and then go at it and boom, you're gonna have primer pigmentation. It's just because the shadow mix anything. I mean, think about it. I mean, you take a powder and if it's wet, it's gonna be darker. It's that simple. If you know, wet your brush and you go into your eyeshadow pan, the area where the moisture had contact with the eyeshadow in the pan is going to be darker than the rest of it. It's common sense. I don't know why everyone is just taking this at face value and not asking any questions. No matter my self-admitted bias towards James Charles and his attitude, no matter anything, like I said, I showed you the performance. I showed you what it did. I wasn't jacking around with it. I wasn't doing anything different. I actually gave these eyeshadows more of a chance than I would a normal palette because I was packing it on. I don't normally pack all my shadows on. I normally just pack the crease portion on and maybe the outer corner. The rest of it's all blending. You can't do that with these unless you have some kind of sticky base, because as you saw, the minute I went to blend, no matter how light of a hand I had, it all came off. All that was left was the stain. Do I think it's a good eyeshadow palette? No, I don't. And I'm probably going to be among the minority, and I think it's really sad. Do I genuinely believe there's people out there that enjoy this palette? Yes. Do I believe there's a lot of people out there that are saying they enjoy it to avoid 10 million reasons of backlash? Yes, I do. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be one of them. I'm just not. Just not. I never will be. I don't care how big of a following people have. I don't care how nasty people, their groupies can get with attacking people that give unfavorable reviews. It doesn't matter to me. You know, when I see somebody, I'm not going to give a name out because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but when I see somebody who cuts down Emily Noel's palette, and for those of you that don't know her, she's a wonderful, I mean, talk about an example of what a YouTuber should be, and professional and behavior-wise and just ethics, everything. Emily Noel is a perfect example of what I would aspire to be in a reviewer, and that is somebody who has ethics, somebody who's ethical, who's honest, who, you know, just lays it out there. But when I see a reviewer cut her palette down of not having enough pigmentation and not blending well and stuff, and then I see them give this glowing reviews, I have a problem. And I'll tell you, I've taken a new look at a lot of reviewers over this last couple weeks, because since this palette's come out and seeing how it applied for me, and I'm thinking back on all these reviews I've watched and all these glowing reviews on this palette, it's made me really question whether or not there's very many people who can truly be trusted. And maybe it's the fact that none of them have tried applying it without an eyeshadow primer yet, because so many just, James said, James said, James said. That's what I heard all through the videos. I didn't hear one person say, I say. Well, you know what? I say, as an average consumer, this palette is pretty much useless, because while it's beautiful colors and I love the layout of it, you can't blend it because it just comes right off. And unless I want to wear an eyeshadow primer, which in my personal case I don't, and the reason I don't, I'll tell you why. And there's a lot of women out there that have this problem. The minute I can find a product like a MAC paint pot that doesn't dry my eyelids out is the minute that I'll start using a primer. But my situation is, because I have such fair skin and my eyelid, you know, the skin there is so thin, you can see all the veins. So I have to apply a concealer to my lids to block that out. This is too drying on my eyelids. If I apply this to my eyelids, they look crepey, and, you know, my daughter can wear this beautifully. I wore this for 25 years, since it released at least. I mean, I loved it, but once I got over 40, I just couldn't use it anymore because it was too drying. So I have to use a concealer, and I have yet to find an eyeshadow primer that blocks out, that has enough pigment in it that it can block out, you know, the veins in my eyelids, but isn't drying. So that's where I stand right now. So in that case, I'm stuck right now with concealer unless I want to load multiple products on my eyes. This, enough said. I don't like it. I personally wouldn't recommend it unless, you know what, I'm just going to say right now, for the way I used it, I wouldn't recommend it. I am not going to make a judgment on this palette for using it on primer until I use it on primer and see how it performs. I might do a follow-up video using this the way that James says. But first, I wanted to use this palette the way Shelbie says and the way a normal consumer does. And in that case, this palette, in more ways than one, talk about the performance, that it has no mirror, that the shadow names aren't printed on the palette. And these are all demands that every other influencer out there would normally be bitching about, and nobody said a word. The fact that the pigments are not separated from the eyeshadows, and there's no demarcation on the palette so that you can see what is a pigment and what is an eyeshadow, since he claims you have to apply them differently and blend them differently. Well, if you have to, you're saying it yourself, you have to apply them and blend them differently, then why the F didn't you put marks on the palette? Do you expect people to hang on to the box and go to the box and read it and match it up with, I mean, you know, even if I wanted to go to the box, let's say, and read to find out which one of the shadows is a pigment, then I gotta go to this stupid thing. So it's a 3-step process to find out which one of these is a pigment. Like I said, unless I go through and do it the first time over and mark up my palette myself, why the hell didn't you do that, James? You know, I mean, so I have more problems than just the performance. I personally think the color look that this came out with, I love it. But it's not going to stay. It's already, I mean, look at that. Look at my eyelids. Now remember, my eyelids, that was the last thing I packed on. Again. And look at them. They're already coming off. I haven't been sitting here 15 minutes. So that's bullshit. Anyways, I wouldn't, you know, if you're somebody who doesn't want to use a primer, or you don't like primers or whatever, or like me, you haven't found one that you can use that isn't too dry on your eyelids, so you have to use concealer, unless you want to use a wet concealer, and I don't know how that's going to perform with this. Like I said, I can't make a judgment on a wet base until I try it, and that's what it's about. It's about a wet base. It has not... Pigmentation aside, the reason he's recommending that you use a wet base under this is because they don't stick to the eyelids without it. It's just that simple. So, I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was really long, and I'll try and cut it down as much as possible. Now, in ending, let's get to the fun part, shall we? Now I'm going to tell you guys real quick. I am going to be doing giveaways from here until the new year. I am not going to be able to mail these out before Christmas. I wish I could, but I'm not going to make it. I will never make a commitment to you guys that I cannot keep. And I know I can't keep that kind of commitment because, for one thing, my giveaways are going to be going through the new year because my birthday's on January 8th. I will be turning 50 years old, so to celebrate, I will continue the giveaways until January 8th. Just for the hell of it, why not, right? Especially since I'm getting a late start in December to get them going here. But because of my schedule through the holidays, I'm just not going to have time to do it. So just know what I'm going to be doing with all the giveaways. I will be shipping them out all together when the final giveaway is done. So more than likely you'll be receiving your products the second week of January, somewhere in there, second or third week of January. I know it sucks, I know it's a ways out and stuff, but you know what? What I just decided to do, because I am so crammed during the holiday times of plans and family and everywhere I have to be, and you know, I'm not going to be home for over a week even here coming up, so I'm going to have to be pre-recording. Needless to say, what I'm going to do is I will post everything down below in the description box of the dates on every giveaway, when they start, when they end, and how to enter. All the information will be there, so make sure and read it so you know how to enter and you don't miss out. And I will have the date of, you know, when the final one closes, I will have the date on that one up of when everything will ship out, and I will notify you in a video as well, so everybody will know. I will still be drawing winners. I'm not going to wait until, you know, till January to draw the winners. I'll be drawing the winners as the giveaways end, and I'll be letting you guys know. I know this is kind of confusing, but anyways, so what I want you to do for this one, it's real simple. Because of the fact I have several different products here for you guys to choose from, in order to enter this giveaway, first off, you have to be subscribed to my channel because this is for my subscribers, as a thank you to show my appreciation. Since I have multiple things here, you have to leave a comment. You must be subscribed to my channel, and please know, I'm going to just let you know now for new people coming in, if you subscribe to my channel just to enter the giveaway and then you back out afterwards, I will block you from future giveaways because this is for my subscribers, for people who want to be a part of our channel and who stick in with me and support me, then I support you. So what you have to do is, first off, let me show you the prizes. There are 3 Jaclyn Hill, the original palettes. You guys have seen the original Jaclyn Hill palette. It's this one here. And these are, just so you know, these are from the first initial launch. I purchased these the day the palette released. Same with the vaults. I have 3 vaults I'll be giving away. The Jaclyn Hill vaults. And then I have 2 of the Kathleen Lights collaboration. These are all Morphe collaborations. So I figured, since I do not want to purchase any more palettes of those James Charles and put money in his pocket, we'll give away Morphe. We're just giving away different Morphe products. So what I need from you guys is for you to leave a comment down below. Let me know in order, 1, 2, 3. If you win, what is your choice of what you would like to win? So in other words, if I enter, I'm going to say Shelbie Knight. My first choice is the vault. Number 1 vault. Number 2 Jaclyn Hill palette. Number 3 Kathleen Lights palette. You know, that's what you need to do, because that way, when I'm going to do a random draw, as I always do, and whoever, the first one that wins, I'll go to their name and I'll look at their number 1 item. If that number 1 item's already gone, I'll go to their number 2. But be guaranteed, when you win, you will win one of those 3 items. You'll either get the vault, you'll get the Jaclyn Hill palette, or you'll get the Kathleen Lights palette. So, and also, if you follow me on Instagram and on Twitter, you'll get an additional entry for each of those. So if you do follow me, in the comment that you leave on top of your 1, 2, 3 choices, leave me your username, because I will be verifying that you follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. And my username and all the information is down below as well, but it's BeautyDaughtMom, the same as my channel. That's it for now, you guys. I'm sorry this was a long video. I love you. I hope wherever you're at in the world, life is treating you well. And if you're having struggles, you're beating the bitches back and persevering. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give in. Don't ever let anybody tell you you can't. If you set your mind to something, you can succeed and make your dreams come true. I love you guys. Happy holidays. Until next time. Mwah! Hey everyone, Editing Shelbie here. I just wanted to point a few things out to you and show you some pictures here real quick. First off, on this first picture, if you look at my left eye, which is on your right side, right above where my eyelashes are there, you'll see the shadow all broken up and just looks horrible. This is a non-edited shot. The rest of them are edited. But I wanted to show you guys it completely broke up just from the eyelashes making contact with it. Now, oh God, you're going to see a progression of shots here. They're going to get progressively worse as they go on. This is what happened to me after I wore the palette. I have never in my life had a reaction like this. You'll see that not only it starts off with just redness in my eyes, but then my under eyes start puffing up and getting red. My eyes were so red and so inflamed by the end of the evening. I'm not joking, you guys. I could hardly see. Look at how red. My eyes look bright green in this picture because the red is so bad. I've never in 35 plus years of wearing makeup had an experience like this. Look at my under eyes, look at my eyes, and look at under my nose. What's breaking out there? That was a lovely little treat. As most of you know now, just so you know, these are just pictures here I wanted to show you guys. They are edited above my eyes because it looked horrible, so I took a blur tool and blurred it out. But anyways, long story short, if you have sensitive skin, I would be highly, highly careful in dealing with this palette. I do not have sensitive skin. I do not have sensitive eyes. And not only did my eyes erupt literally into painful, swollen, horrible, just absolutely horrible, but this happened on my face. And I think it was because I used the same makeup wipe that I used on my eyes all over my face. I ended up with blisters on my lip, I ended up with blisters under my nose, and I ended up with a blister under my eye. I am still healing from this. I've never had this happen before, and I know without doubt it was caused by this palette because there's nothing else that I used that I hadn't used before. So just fair warning to you guys, this is my experience and all I can do is tell you the truth and share it for you to see. Love you. Bye.